Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Hedera and HBAR. So let's just dive into this and let's start off with the aftermath of the recent events. Price-wise, we're still looking pretty solid here. We came down into my demand zone that I've been waiting for a while. We are currently down off of the recent local high, roughly total 45%. Today it's about like 40%. This is not a bad level in my opinion for bidding to happen, because again in the past we've actually seen this range being tested for a while. Here we've seen it being tested for about 51 days in total from September all the way to November. Then here was the FTX situation. After the FTX situation, we kind of ranged down here for a little bit of time. Do I think that this here is our bottom for HBAR? It's questionable, right? I'm waiting for Monday. To be fully transparent with you guys, I do think that Monday is going to give us a little bit more of an in-depth view on where these markets are headed. I think that we need to be a little bit more patient. I always say, you shouldn't be in a rush to buy any asset. Make sure that, one, we see some sort of floor formed. For example, like I want to see us range in this area for a while. That will give us a little bit of a clear insight on, hey, we have some support here. This is solid. But it could also be very quick here. So we could have a repeat of this level down here where we only range for like a little bit and then boom, we get a little bit of an impulsive move to the upside. That could definitely happen. But what I'm looking at and what I'm watching for is something like this, where we just kind of trail sideways. And we've seen this multiple times in the past. Now, yes, we usually do see some sort of impulsive move from this to either the downside or we see the upside move. I personally would love to see this be quick here. I think that repeating this down here would be great, where we only just trail for a little bit and then boom, we get that move to the upside. This will be our higher low scenario, where we already have this low, we have this low, maybe we have a low up here. That would be great because it would be something like this where we, continue higher and we kind of just repeat that same movement like we've seen in the past. But it's definitely questionable on what Monday has in store for us, because stocks can react in some crazy ways, especially with the recent news about Silicon Valley Bank. There's been a lot of things that are up in the air around what's going to happen next, but I definitely am, excited about where this market is headed. I still feel pretty confident about buying in this range. I wouldn't go heavy, obviously, but I will be DCAing here a little bit just because it makes sense, right? We've trailed in the zone in the past, and even going back in time, this was resistance at some points in time, going all the way back to August of 2020, March of 2020, and even February of 2020. And we did hit resistance during January of 2021 before we ended up breaking up into this range. But I'm definitely looking to see if we will see that 4.5 cent zone being tested down here, where we possibly get, a scenario where we can kind of trade here. We come down finally, build a floor, hit a little bit of resistance and kind of continue high, or something like that would be welcomed in on HBAR. But with all of that in mind, let's take a look at the aftermath around this. So we did get a little bit of an update on the Hedera Status page. If we actually go look at the Hedera Status a little bit, we still see some partial outages here. For example, Node 3 with YPro, as well as Node 4 with Nomura, and also Node 2022 with IIT Madras. There's a partial outage here. There's also partial outage with both of these two as well. Now, I noticed that a lot of people were actually looking at this and they were saying that this is very bearish. I just want to bring you guys down here to a few things. One, as we look at the mainnet and we look at the uptime, yeah, it's about 98.61%. The response that I got on Twitter, because I responded to what Christian Hasker said about how they're back online, I said, seeing so much doubt, uncertainty, and negativity. I said negatively here, but I meant negativity, but it's all good. Flooding Twitter regarding the Hedera situation. This space is unpredictable with bridges, decentralized exchanges, etc. Anything can happen at any moment. What's different is how the situation is handled. I respect the Hedera team greatly on how they dealt with this adversity. My stance has not changed one bit on HBAR. And I got a few responses. I see online operation no longer 100%. Why should I continue to hold? My response was, in my opinion, hiccups are expected. No matter how bad these events can be, I do expect strong bounce backs in teams/projects I am extremely confident in, and Hedera is one of them. But then I also seen another response saying, first time that we have ever disagreed, mate. Any blockchain that can be restarted due to vulnerability is going to have a tough time making it. Hope I'm wrong, though. Now, this response is definitely questionable, right? Because one, this has been the idea around the space, is the fact that like any sort of centralization aspect tied to any of these assets is not going to make it. I want to bring everyone back down to earth real quick. QNT, right? Quant Network. Quant Network is one of the most centralized projects within the space. It's not a bad thing at all. I've talked about this. I've discussed it, right? Overledger, very centralized. QNT is a token, not really centralized in itself, but Overledger is working with centralized entities. They're bringing centralized entities into this space. It's a very good thing. What Hedera did was they have proxies on the network that they could turn on and turn off, essentially blocking the mainnet to be accessed. It doesn't mean that the network is down. It doesn't mean that the network shut down or anything like that. It just means that it's being blocked. I even said the main network was still live 24/7. The proxies just blocked access for the time being for them to address the problem. Major entities, corporations, institutions, etc. are going to choose a network like this for security purposes. You can't have institutional grade adoption without some centralization as well. Remember that. Because this is the biggest misconception around the space, is that, an asset or a network needs to 100% have zero control tied to it. It's very illogical to think like that, because again, I always say that within this space, a little bit of a centralization aspect is not too bad, because again, with what Hedera did, they stopped this hack, exploit, however you want to call it. They stopped this in an incredible timely manner, right? They handled this perfectly. And now we are starting to see things, really come back online. We're starting to see things being worked out. But one thing that I seen that was incredible was one of the decentralized exchanges that was included in this scenario, right? One that really got exploited was Pangolin Hedera. Now, the way that they handled this is perfectly. Update regarding Pangolin exploited funds. All funds have been replenished on the affected pools: USDC, HTS, USDC, HTS, HBAR, and USDT. Hashpack app has been re-enabled on Pangolin, and you can now remove, add, swap, and transfer all tokens. In regards to super farm and single-sided staking rewards, we have called our reward vesting bot, which has unpaused rewards emissions. Those who left the farms before HTS tokens were frozen can rejoin. If you have further questions about this, please join our community Discord. All users LP, liquidity pools, has been made whole, and any exploited LP has been replaced. We're grateful for the community's steadfast support during these challenging past 2 days. Thank you. We're excited to continue building and strengthening the Hedera DeFi ecosystem, and we aim to make it the go-to destination for users for many years to come. Again, you're not going to see support like this anywhere else. I mean, we're literally seeing funds being replenished. We're seeing individuals being made whole. I mean, this has been one of the most incredible responses to something like this. Most projects out there, I mean, they don't have these responses. And this is not me talking up Hedera in any sort of way. This is me saying, my confidence behind this team has not changed, because even the projects tied to Hedera has showed incredible work ethic as well as community support. I truly love to see things like this, and it should also give everyone out there that is invested into HBAR, maybe you guys were concerned, it should also give you confidence as well. Now, transactions, hey, transactions are ramping up. 1,877 is the current TPS. Absolutely insane. And a few people were taking some screenshots, almost hitting 2,000 TPS over here. And I do think that going forward on, we're going to see a lot of FUD around HBAR. I think that, again, the responses over here, I think a lot of people are going to make these responses basically their focus point for FUD. I think a lot of people are going to say, well, the online operation is not 100%. They're also going to say, hey, it's centralized. They can control it. They could stop it at any moment. Like, we're going to see a lot of arguments like that. And I really do think that the Hedera community, anybody who's an HBAR holder, we're not new to this. We have seen FUD around Hedera for so long. Initially on, it was tokenomics. Initially on, it was still, hey, look at all the names tied to the GC. Like, this is a centralized project. Who the hell would want to invest into this? And from there on out, we have seen Hedera not only expand rapidly, but we are now seeing them transacting beyond the means of any other project out there. In the last hour, we hit max TPS over 2,000. We did 2.76 million transactions. In the last week, we did 328.6 million transactions, even with those 2 dark days. I mean, this is something very special in my opinion. No matter how you look at this, I really do think that going forward on these bounce backs, what the project does, what the team does, how the team handles things, everything like that goes hand in hand on what makes a successful project. And I truly am very excited for this. And remember, there's been projects out there that have been going down quite a bit that are still in the top 15. Solana. But hey, again, I don't want to talk down on any project because these hiccups, things like this, are expected. We're in a very early on market. We're still in the infancy standard around this market. So as we look at these projects, things like this are going to be expected. But it's how the team handles it. It's how the project handles it. And ultimately, the community can make of it what they want. But at the end of the day, the team has not, changed one bit. They are continuously working hard. They continuously, do the right things. And they've been very, very fast on bouncing back on this event. So I'm very excited to see where HBAR does go from here on out. I'm still watching for the token unlock for more buying opportunities. Definitely watching the next level of demand to see if we do get it. That's going to be about 4.5 cents. So with all of that in mind, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on. If you guys want more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. Others, up to you all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, this has been Nick. Peace out, guys.